from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Monday, July 24th. So today we have the moon in Libra all day. And of course, when the moon is in Libra, we are attempting to achieve balance, to find peace, to harmonize within ourselves, within the world around us. We are definitely focused on seeing a different side, different perspective, different truth of a situation, of a story. We definitely want to cover all different angles. And of course, in Libran energy, we're very focused on relationships. We just want to balance them out. We just want everybody to be happy. So we are a little bit more willing to negotiate, compromise, and meet each other halfway. So there are 8 different aspects here today. All 8 are going to involve the moon on Monday that the moon rules over. So we're definitely in for an emotional day. Heads up, this is the first of 3 days this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all having moon days. Why is this important? Well, we're in a new season. We just had Venus and Chiron join the retrograde crew. We are in this Libran energy and we'll be transitioning into the Scorpio energy that will, of course, take us into our first quarter moon. And we have a lot of inner realm transformation to do. First, the moon in Libra is going to offer us an opportunity to balance things out, to find a new middle ground. And then the major transformation happens when we move into that Scorpio energy. But we have a couple of days of this Libran energy first and foremost. So let's start off with the fact that the moon in Libra is going to make a positive interaction with Saturn, the Lord of Karma, who is retrograde in Pisces energy. What I like about this is that Saturn, who usually brings a reality check, who wants us to really focus on our physical realms, what is out of whack, what needs our attention, where new roles and responsibilities are being asked of us, and where it is, of course, that we have to let go of old dreams, old visions, old belief systems in order to adopt the new. The moon in Libra is offering us a different perspective. So what most of us have been sitting in is this existential dread. We know we've grown out of our old selves, of our old circumstances, of the roles and responsibilities required of us in old soul contracts. And that has been very, semi-depressing. What we are getting right now, especially with the moon being in Libra, is this light, bubbly approach. Again, we like to stay in the shallow end of our emotions here in this Libran energy. You just want everything to be okay. We want everybody to be happy. And so we're approaching this shift from a different perspective. And it's a beautiful thing that the moon in Libra offers us an opportunity to switch up our perspective, our narrative, our angles of looking at things. And from this particular perspective, we're definitely seeing where it is that, some things have gotten out of control, out of whack to the extreme. But in true moon in Libra fashion, we are going to, especially in our mental plane, reframe it in such a way that we are now excited, anticipating the growth, the healing, the new soul contracts, and the new roles and responsibilities that come with them. So this is definitely a positive shift in our emotions and, of course, seeing our roles and responsibilities from a different light. The moon will then interact with Jupiter in such a way that should provide us with a very different perspective. So Jupiter is the planet of growth and expansion, beliefs, abundance, blessings. It's our spiritual knowledge. It's our wisdom that we've accumulated throughout the tough love life lessons that we've had. Well, Jupiter's in this Taurus energy until May of 2024, giving us an opportunity to kind of recreate our physical realms, really put ourselves in a situation where we're kind of creating new opportunities for ourselves to boss up, to kind of, be a little bit nicer and kinder to ourselves, to revamp our routine so that we're kind of free flowing and we're not doing a lot of the unnecessary things that suck the life energy force out of us. We're focused on relationship dynamics. We're focused on money matters. We're focused on, new talents and skills being used in new ways to create new resources, new stability. Well, the moon interacting with Jupiter in this particular way is going to offer us an opportunity to see what our opportunities actually are, what the possibilities actually are from this particular standpoint. So obviously we're in a new energy. Leo energy has us all fired up, has us heart aligned. We're looking to anchor into self. And because we have a different kind of vantage point, especially now with Venus and Chiron retrograde, we are kind of reprocessing, resorting things out, if you will. Now, the moon interacting with Jupiter in this way is definitely going to put a, let's say, realistic but optimistic perspective on what we actually believe is possible for us at this particular juncture, at this particular point in the calendar. Now, this isn't a bad thing, but it is going to show us two very different possibilities, two very different situations, circumstances, scenarios, paths, and directions. Again, the Libran energy, the whole point is to explore the extremes and to find a new middle ground. But because the moon in Libra is also very indecisive, we're not coming to a decision, to a choice point. We're just being illuminated to what our choices actually are and what could be. The moon in Libra is going to make a positive interaction with the sun, who of course is now in his place of power in Leo energy. So anytime that we have the moon and the sun coming together, it's kind of an overlap. The moon is showing us where it is that we're coming from, the past, our emotions, our unconscious self. The sun is representative of the future, shining a bright light on where it is that we want to go, what it is that we have to do in order to get there. This is a positive interaction, which means that the moon in Libra is showing us the dysfunction, the extremes, the, let's say, situations, circumstances, and scenarios that are unbalanced that we're looking to reconcile. The sun in Leo energy is shining a bright light on our heart space, on who it is that we are, what it is that we want, what we're excited about, what we have to get off of our chest. And part and parcel of that is seeing the overlap, which leads us to this present moment in this here and now. Now, what I like about this is that the Libran energy and the Leo energy, they work very well for inspiration, for motivation, for excitement, for optimism, for confidence. We're able to really kind of get heart activated, weigh the pros and cons out, find a solution. And of course, as long as we're thinking and feeling in alignment, we're able to actually move further in the process of really getting ourselves to that choice point, to that decision point. The moon is then going to semi-square Venus. Now, here's the thing. Semi-square is a little bit of a tension point, a little bit of a conflict. Venus, of course, in the heart and soul of the zodiac, in this Leo energy, now retrograde. Well, Venus rules over the Libran energy that the moon is currently in. And a semi-square is going to illuminate where it is that we're not on the same page. So emotionally speaking, we're likely very confused. There's a lot of processing to do because Venus's whole mission, if you will, while retrograde, is to figure out who it is that we are or who it is that we are no longer, what it is that we want or what it is that we no longer want, and pretty much rearrange our values, our priorities, and the people in our lives definitely are going to have a reevaluation as well. So the thing about it is that Venus retrograde in Leo energy, this is very intense. This is a lot of heart activations. This is a lot of painful decisions because sometimes doing the right thing is the most painful thing to do. And the moon in Libran energy is just like, you know what? This is too deep for me, right? We want to stay in the shallow end with this Libran energy. We want to stay positive. We want to stay happy-go-lucky. We want to stay bubbly. Well, Venus is not in that jam. So there is a seriousness coming out here. And this is why we're receiving this tension point, this conflict point, in order for us to realize where it is that we're resisting doing the deep dive in our emotional field in order to figure out what Venus needs us to figure out. The moon is then going to make a positive interaction with Uranus. Uranus is the great awakener. He likes to shock us. He likes to throw curveballs, wild card energies at us. Uranus is in Taurus energy, which means that the bulk of the epiphany, the bulk of the aha moments, the bulk of the disruptions are happening in our physical realm. to our physical bodies, to our self-worth, our self-confidence, to our routines, to our relationship dynamics, to our money matters, to our careers, to our resources, all of those Tauran topics and themes. Well, Uranus is here to kind of shake things up and wake us up to new perspectives, to new possibilities. And the moon in Libra, of course, is trying to achieve balance, but there is no balance had when Uranus is in play. He definitely takes things to the extreme. Now, this could definitely bring an epiphany and aha moment in that is going to reveal a certain side, certain situation, circumstance that we didn't see up until this point, that will have a major impact on us changing the way that we feel, the way that we think, the way that we're actually pursuing the path and moving forward. So this is going to kind of jolt us, if you will, and really kind of spice things up. Cautionary note here, though, our anxiety may peak, but just remember that anxiety is just energy without a focus. So give it a focus, give it something to do, give it something to focus on, give it a channel, give it an outlet, engage the physical body, focus on a mental task, whatever the case may be. We don't want this restless anxiety type of energy just bouncing around and putting us into a funk. The moon in Libra is going to sit across from, directly oppose Chiron, the wounded healer, who just went retrograde in Aries energy. So this is going to be an interesting dynamic, first and foremost, because Chiron, the wounded healer, right now is illuminating our wounds in order for us to heal them. We're doing a deep dive. We're going to really unlock new levels of our spiritual warriorism over the next couple of months. Really attack, if you will, who it is that we currently are, who it is that we are no longer, who it is that we desire to be. We're recognizing the egoic wounds that are preventing us from aligning with higher self. But this opposition is likely not going to feel so good, mostly because, again, Chiron isn't messing around. There's an intensity that comes with Chiron that the moon in Libra does not want to deal with. There's a friction here. We only allow ourselves to go so far in the emotional processing, and then we're like, you know what? We're starting to go into the deep end. I really don't like the deep end. Let's just grab a pool noodle. Let's get comfy. Let's take a float. Let's just kind of check out. Now, it's going to be impossible to check out entirely, but what it is going to do is put us in a good situation to see whether or not we can actually kind of tame the fire, the flames within. If we are able to understand where it is that the line is kind of being drawn in our inner emotions, to stay in the shallow end and deal with the surface level of our wounds, while Chiron, of course, wants us to go deeper, wants us to go further. The moon will then interact with Saturn in a more difficult kind of way than we did earlier on in the day. So the difficulties that come up, it's not a major pain in the butt, but now we're starting to question things, mostly because we've had our, let's say, wounds picked at, our scabs ripped off, if you will, with Venus's interaction, with Chiron's interaction. Again, they're both retrograde, really looking to do a deep dive, do some healing work, do some deep transformative alchemy within our emotional and mental realm. And guess what? The moon in Libra, just not down for it. So the interaction with Saturn kind of turns to a little bit of a heavier weight. We're no longer kind of happy, go lucky, bubbly, optimistic, confident about the changes that we are about to kind of move through. Instead, now the indecisiveness, the protectiveness, the defensiveness is definitely coming out of us. And we kind of see it more as a challenge that we're unsure at this particular point that we're feeling up to. The last thing that we have going on is the moon interacting with Uranus once again. And compared to the earlier interaction, this one is a little bit tougher because it is going to illuminate for us options, choice points, and of course the Libran energy just absolutely sucks at coming to any kind of conclusion, any kind of decision, any kind of choice point. So the Uranian energy is giving us that earlier perspective in our physical realms where things are extreme, where things are out of whack, where we can see things from a different set of eyes in order for us to see what needs to change the most. Well, now we're feeling the pressure. Now it's not like a happy-go-lucky observation. Now we actually feel the weight the pressure, the intensity to decide, to choose, to make a move, to understand the direction and the path that we're moving into. And of course, the moon in Libra does not like those vibes at all. So there is a little bit of a backpedal situation, a little bit of a let's just wear the mask and pretend that this isn't happening on the peripheral side of my existence type of vibe. And although there is a certain amount that we're able to block out and kind of not pay attention to as of yet, our higher mind, which Uranus rules over, already has the spark, already has the seed. The seed's been planted. There is this like dialogue, this narrative going on in the back of our heads from our higher mind space, whether we want to acknowledge it or not, that we are putting a little bit more pressure on ourselves to take a good look at our physical realms and our circumstances and really identify what is first and foremost on the priority list, on what needs to change, what needs to shift, and what needs to kind of, I'm going to say, transform or morph into something more stable, more secure, more long-term.